Podcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start with our guest, Mike Kyle. How are you doing this evening?
You know what? Fashionably late, but I appreciate you boys for having me. I have
It's
been
all
excited
good, man.
about this since we've been talking about it for a little while. And I like that we have news to talk with too, not just us being
Yeah.
like, we'll take that guy.
Yes, exactly. So I've got it on this on the ticker there. So that's Purple and Go for Days. And again, Purple People Podcast. Check my guy Kyle along with Adam and the other Kyle. Although it's amazing how the other Kyle will get that one on there. But by the way, we are also simulcasting tonight on Purple People Podcast. So if any of your audience has notifications set, they'll see it here. So the more the merrier. Mike, my good friend, the king of Vikings Twitter Spaces, how are you this evening?
I'm pretty good, Justin. No complaints. Hey, draft's 10 days away.
Nice.
It's going to be fun.
Indeed, it is. So, with all that said, we are going to do some mockage here tonight. But first off, let's give some shout outs. Skull Mafia is already in the building. Thank you kindly. Skull Purple Gang in the building. You know we trading up. Yeah, we'll probably do at least one, if not two. What's funny about it is earlier I was live with SK and Rap and promoted Rap Show later tonight and Gigi. And they might not be going on. So, we're going to take longer than I had expected to. I try not to bump heads with our fellow content creators, but since they ain't going, we got more time. But having said that, yes, we got some news. We got this Dalvin Cook situation. We got this now Danielle Hunter situation, all of which we've kind of pretty much known anyway. So let's start with Danielle Hunter since that's the topic of the day. Didn't show up for voluntary today. Not really surprised. The guy's got a $13 million cap hit, but he's only getting $4.9 million in cash this season. Danielle Hunter has taken plenty of team-friendly deals over the course of his Vikings tenure. And being that this is the last year of his deal at only $4.9 million, I can't say I really blame him. I'll start with you, Kyle. What do you make of this Danielle Hunter situation, and how are we going to rectify it?
You go one of two or three different ways. You could try to rectify it and pay him more because he has taken team-friendly deals. I think when you have a situation with a player like this who's had a tweak, love that reference, you want to see him come back healthy. And for everything great that Zadarius Smith was for the first half of the year, Danielle Hunter was for the rest of the year. If you look at Pro Football Focus grades, and you don't have to live and die by those, they were a top 2 tandem in the league last year. Top 10, I believe they both fell in there. I don't see Danielle Hunter being as successful in the 3-4 as he was just putting his knuckles in the ground, but he's a hell of an athlete. He's still young. I want him to stay more than I want Zadarius to stay. So I would try to work that out. But also, out of the three that we're going to talk about here, I think he's the one with the biggest upside for trade potential because he's not as old as the other two. He doesn't have the extent of injury history. They all have injury history, but I like Danielle the most. I would like him to stay out of the three that we had mentioned just now. But that's just my thing. If you move him, I don't care because I've got it ready in here for a couple of places that I've looked at. I got a replacement for him on the way when we talk about this mock draft. So,
Mike, what are your thoughts on this? What are we doing? Are we keeping him? Are we going to give him his money? Are we going to try to trade him next Thursday, as Skull Mafia thinks? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it comes down to two things. I don't think they're going to come to a long-term extension, as I talked about earlier. We know Kwesi has an age range that he likes to keep these players around. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give him a 4-year extension, paying him like $20 million until he's like 32. That's not going to happen. That's all of the cards. So it's either going to be a restructured deal, similar to what Harrison Smith did, where it's basically they give him an upgrade in pay. Well, in this case for Hunter, it'll be an upgrade in pay, unlike Harry, where it was a pay cut. But he gets to hit free agency next year, and that, and the story, and he gets more money. I think everyone wins. It's essentially like a franchise tag, or he's traded. I don't think there's any in between here. He's obviously not going to play for $4.9 million. And why would he? That's insanity if he tried to do that, because talk about team friendly, that's honestly like almost like a rookie deal at that point. So that's not going to happen.
Right.
It makes all the sense in the world that he's holding out. I'm not mildly surprised about it. We just see where it goes from here. I honestly, if you're going to trade him, you got to get at least a second-round pick or throw him in a package to move up high in the draft in the first round. There's no in between for me.
No, I totally agree. And forgive me, guys, I'm hitting the tweet button here right now to get this notification set out over the Twitter airwave. So give me just a second there. But I'm going to say it like this. I would love to see Danielle Hunter back on this team. I'd love to see him be utilized by Flores the way that Ed Donachelle didn't. I want to see him with his hand in the dirt. I want to see him not dropping into coverage, but maybe once a season, if that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe twice, not once or twice a quarter. But I digress. The point I'm making is this: it is a sticky situation because again, he's counting $13 million against the cap. If he is traded or cut, and it doesn't matter if it's pre-June, post-June, doesn't matter. All of his dead cap hit will accelerate to where his cap hit for him not being here will be $18 million. Which means you're going to go $5 million in the wrong direction if you try to trade or cut him outright. They're not going to cut him outright. I'll tell you that right now. They will go through all summer and have him hold out before they cut him for absolutely nothing. Now, I might be wrong on the post-June 1st designation if he's traded or cut, but it's not really. The point is this. You've got to get something in return for him. You got to get a second-round pick for him at minimum, or he needs to be part of a package where – let's say hypothetically speaking, I don't know, you decide you want to trade up for one of the top tier quarterbacks and okay, you got to throw in 1, 2, maybe a third first round pick, an additional player. And Danielle Hunter can bring you that added value that way. Well, yeah, then I'm okay taking the extra $5 million that you've already allocated plus $5 million more. But you want to bring the guy back. Okay. So he's taking team friendly deals like we talked about in 2018. He signed an extension, and he signed an extension early, and it was a sweetheart of a deal for the Vikings. They signed him to a $40 million extension because Rick Spielman's like, I'm going to get out ahead of this. And now he accepted that deal, so he has to bear some of that responsibility. And, he was going to renegotiate here, and then he got hurt. And then he was going to renegotiate here, and then he got hurt again. At the end of the day, he's in a bad spot. He does not deserve to only be playing out the final year of his deal for $4.9 million. He's definitely a top 10 pass rusher. So how they're going to figure this one out is beyond me. Like I said, I want him back. I'd love to see him as part of the Flores defense, but if you can get something for him, you almost have to take it, don't you?
Well, it depends on what it is, right? If it's what you said, like bare minimum, like a second, fine. But it's a really sticky situation because I'm not so sure, as much as we, wanted to think that the Vikings could get a second round pick, I'm not so sure the NFL team is going to give that up for it because they understand the leverage.
I think it's a third, and a third is reasonable. He was a third round pick. He has injury history, but he did get to 50 sacks super fast as a young player, and he's shown he bounced back from not only a neck thing, but what was it, a bicep or a pec tear?
Yeah, a pec tear, yeah.
And he can do that. Also, if you guys want, I have some juicy speculation. We are not published media, and we don't have credentials. So we live the reckless speculation lifestyle. Absolutely. Well, here's a fun thing I got from our boy Kyle West with me on the Purple People podcast today. And he said, take this with a grain of salt. So there's your disclaimer. But this is on a Reddit, and it says, my cousin has dated Daniil a couple of times. She says that when he was hurt, he talked about how he didn't really care because he got paid, which is good. I love that. Said that his football is his job. His true passion is cars. Now, we know that's true because we've been seeing it all over social media. He's in Dubai and all these other places with these crazy automobiles. It says, when I heard that come out of his mouth, I knew he'd never be as good as we thought he would be. Imagine if he actually cared about it. But don't get me wrong. The dude is a beast. Now, I know that has a little to nothing to do with GMing an armchair quarterback in here, but I thought that was funny. And I was like, I see part of that being absolutely true. Don't know if it could be fully true, but point being, yeah, he got his money when he was hurt. You should get paid if you get injured on the job, just like if you worked in a steel mill or something like that. But to Mike's point, I think that a third is fair. I don't think a second would come our way because he's not some monumental player. He's a little bit older. But guess what another third does for the Vikings? That gives you leverage to move right into the second that you use for TJ Hawkinson.
Exactly.
It's a win-win for us. You could have a first, second, third, and then you could be good to go and not miss out, assuming you stay put at 23. But
I do want to throw in one last thing quickly. If we did make the big trade up, it is kind of funny how Jonathan Gannon is the head coach of the Cardinals now, and this is a really, really long-term connection all the way back, many, many years ago. But he used to be part of the Vikings staff under Zimmer when Daniil Hunter came in. So there is a connection there, and he did like a tweet when Gannon got the Cardinals head coaching job. But the one nice thing about Hunter compared to Kirk, who has been, obviously speculated before in the past, there is there's no trade clause. So you could trade him anywhere. Any team that wanted him, you could move him to. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, though, I'd love to see him back. I'm not so sure he will be. And I don't know, Justin. You guys could tell me if I'm wrong on this. Did Z show up to voluntary, OTAs? Because if he did, that's pretty telling. Because I didn't hear about his name. I heard about Dalvin. I heard about Danilo, but I didn't hear anything about Z.
I didn't hear one way or the other, but a lot of the focus was on Daniil Hunter because, well, he's a longer term player, and obviously I actually haven't had a chance to keep up with the news the rest of the day because I did the live show at noon with SK and Rap. So I'll take a look. But you're right. No, I didn't hear one way or the other. What about you, Kyle? Did you hear anything?
I didn't. My assumption is not, since it's voluntary, and the coaches have been really adamant about these guys don't have to show up for that. Mm-hmm. We saw who did give a press conference today, so my assuming him not being there would be he would be a part of the media thing because they were going to hound him about this stuff if he was there. But I don't know. I haven't heard yes or no. I'm assuming that he wasn't.
I'm going to take a see if I can quickly find out from the old Twitter machine here. But while we are waiting on that, I do want to say shout out to everybody that's up in the building that just came through the door. Dylan, thanks kindly. Good to see you again. What's good? Hey, you know what? We are less than 2 weeks away. We are a week and a half from draft night. What's going on, GG Sports? Thanks for dropping in for us as well. Hit those like buttons on the way in. And I do see a couple of people had come through on your YouTube page as well. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. We are a very, very guest-intensive and fan-friendly podcast here. So light up that chat for us. Put anything you want in there. Keep it clean. We, occasionally have a couple kids watching this. Single greatest Twitter handle, Facebook handle of all time. My worthless opinion. Thanks for swinging on through. Good to see you here as well. We're going to do some mocks later here. We all know that. But let's circle back to the news of the day. And this really isn't news of the day, but, some reports came out this weekend talking about Dalvin Cook. And, of course, Dalvin Cook's agent had to go start running his mouth about how the Vikings have totally misused him, and they've been mediocre his entire time here. Last I checked, we've gone to the playoffs 3 times, and twice we've gotten out of the first round. And one of those times, your player wasn't even playing. In fact, the best year we've had since you've been here is the year you weren't playing. Now, obviously, different circumstances and things change. We all know that. But, Mike, I'll start with you. This Dalvin Cook situation, I think a topic we had talked about earlier was, do we like that Kwesi is being patient and patience is a virtue and waiting around here? And I said, if you end up getting something good for him, then yes, fine. But if you end up missing out and getting absolutely nothing for Dalvin Cook because every other team has said, you know what, we're not willing to give you anything, and the Vikings end up cutting him for nothing, then patience didn't do you a whole lot of good. But your thoughts on this Dalvin Cook mess and how are we going to get through it?
You basically read my mind there, Justin. I don't have much else to add other than, they better not release him. Because if you do that, you fail. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. If you get nothing for a multiple-time Pro Bowl running back, you failed. Because this is what I don't think enough people realize. Well, his contract's very, difficult to trade. No, it's not. The team that acquired him would only be paying him a little bit over $6 million. So, and I did the math. That'd be put in between 12th and 13th highest paid running back for the team that's paying him on the cap. So,
right, it's
doable. The Vikings just better not get cute here, because at the end of the day, if they have an offer on the table right now, they honestly should take it.
Yes,
because with running backs, you're lucky if you get anything. Look what happened with Zeke. He got cut by the Cowboys. Should have traded him earlier. They didn't. They gave him the extension. When you give running backs these massive extensions, it almost never works out. The Panthers are one of the only teams that got a ton when they traded McCaffrey to the Niners because it was cheap for the Niners acquiring him. Dalvin Cook's not $2 million for the team acquiring him. He's $6 million. So if they have a 5th round pick on the table, take it, move on. Don't get too cute. I agree.
For the record, it's $7.9 million for a team that trades him on this year's cap hit, but close enough. It's not the $14 million that the Vikings are on.
Whatever it is, it's not worth overthinking it. That's all, because there's definitely a team that'd be worth paying him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll say this: you're either going to trade him, even if it's for a 5th round pick. You're either going to cut him, or he's going to be back on the team. And anything other than trading him is a failure, as you said there. But Kyle, your thoughts?
The number is what I cling to when we hear this information. So 7.9. It's right around what you're giving Alexander Madison. If it's last year for Dalvin, I'm good with him coming back. But yeah, like you guys said, you have to get something. You don't want to be empty-handed, because not only are you going to lose your starting running back, which we're prepared to replace in Alexander Madison, but the money, funny money, monopoly money, whatever. That's the cap. I'm not worried about that part. But you need to do it before the draft so you have a clear path of what your vision is, because you can get a great running back in the 5th round. And I'm not too worried. I'm not saying they're going to replace the production of Dalvin, but that's not the identity of the team anymore. That's the one thing that I really laugh about with his agent is saying he's a Hall of Fame running back. Hold on that for a little while, my guy. And I love Dalvin to death. I have his jersey 7 feet away from me on the wall.
Yeah.
But it's just hold off on that a little bit. And the other point is, too, I have seen nothing in the way of Ty Chandler or Kene Nwangwu on the field, and I would like to see what that investment is. Yeah. So do what you can. He can go somewhere that's running back needy. I don't think that's a terrible deal for anyone because we would absorb some of that money, I believe. But, yeah, you guys nailed it. You got to get something for him, even if it's pennies. If you come out with nothing, man, you fumbled that one, and you don't want to start your second year with a fumble as far as your management.
No pun intended, right?
Sorry, I'll make this quick. And I got in an argument with somebody over Twitter about this. And I was telling someone, well, like, they should take a 7th if that's what they have offered to them. And someone told me that they should literally cut him instead of trading him for a 7th. That might have been the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, take anything. You get anything that's a draft pick, you take it and move on.
You know, I've got a car that I'm just going to take to the junkyard. The junkyard guy offered me $100 for it. No. Just take it. I don't even want your $100. Really? What kind of nonsense is that? Shout out Davey Chains. What's up? Thanks for coming into the building, Davey. I appreciate you. Hit those like buttons on your way in, ladies and gentlemen. And also, please consider subscribing to our guest here tonight, and that is Kyle. And that handle of his is NC Dog Dude. Tell us the origin of your handle, NC Dog Dude, Kyle. We got to hear this.
Man, I was just going to change it to promote the channel, but it's scrolling at the bottom. I do Vikings podcast too with two of my great friends, Adam Carlson and Kyle West. Purple People Podcast. Like it, subscribe it if you'd like. We do stuff. We're going to do our final positional breakdown before the draft tomorrow. But I am originally from Gastonia, North Carolina, and 30 miles west of Charlotte. Currently live in Charlotte. I work at the airport here. I'm very close to Panther Stadium, so there's a lot of that. I'm still looking for Adam Thielen every day in baggage claim. I will get that picture to you guys if I get to meet him because I'm going to fangirl. But I'm a North Carolina native. I'm an Air Force veteran of 12 years, and I've been a canine handler since 2012. So I am the North Carolina dog dude, and I'm not going to say I'm the world's best dog trainer or anything. I'm still a handler now. I've trained dogs. I've instructed. I've handled forever. But that's where it was. It's pretty easy. I thought it was catchy. And then, just like this, when I hand it out at my music gigs or if I hand it out somewhere else, it always sparks the conversation. Because, this is what I do. I play music, I handle dogs, and I do football. So that's the pyramid for me. But that's a short but long-winded answer there. Just a dog guy from Charlotte, man.
There you go. There you go. Well, thanks again. As always, it's the second time we've had you. And I appeared on you guys' show a couple Tuesdays back. What time tomorrow are you guys going live? Just so that I can get that out to my audience here real quick.
We'll say the same time tomorrow, 7:30. We haven't agreed upon it yet, but we have to do. Okay. We took last week off. It was so dead in the water. We're going to talk about the corner we just acquired. We're going to talk about the defensive line. Like when Justin was on our show, we did a positional breakdown to kind of fill the dead weeks up to the draft. So we started at quarterback all the way around the offense, all the way around the defense. Now we're back. And, we're going to be excited. We're going to take some predictions to see where we land, too, much like today's show. But we're not going to do 3 rounds. So a little something different today.
Sounds like a plan. Well, everybody watching me on Purple and Gold for Days, I thank you all for supporting me. Go check out those guys when the show is over. Check out some of their videos, hit those like buttons, and consider subscribing to them because they are good people. And one of these days, we'll get them crossing over a little bit more because I'd love to have all 3 of you guys on with us here at once. Let me get some shout-outs in here real quick. Yogi is in the building. Thank you kindly, Yogi, who gave me the login and password for Pro Football Focus on the mock site that we're going to be able to use so that we can do the trades and everything else. Giddy gang, what's going on? Oh, that's Skull Mafia again. Thank you kindly. Sub Yogi. Yeah. I want to circle back first off, Bob is in the house. Bob, I want to mock. Bob is the biggest every time we on a show, no matter which channel we on, he's like, I want to mock. So hey, thank you kindly. And of course, our wonderful Lady Mary's in the building as well. Do want to say a quick shout and a thank you here to something that David Change said here. That's awesome. I was an MP in the Army for 15 years. So first and foremost, Davey Change, thank you kindly for your services here to that, and of course for participating here. But that's pretty sweet there as well. So okay, now having said all that, one more shout out I gotta give, and that is to Sarah. Thank you kindly for joining us. If you ever want to be entertained, just tune into one of Rap's lives when Sarah's in there, because it gets rather entertaining. But thanks to King kindly for joining us here. So, yeah, it was funny. We did talk about cornerbacks when I was on your show, and it's funny. We had said we would like the Vikings to sign at least one more veteran corner to get some depth in here, and we went through about a half dozen cornerbacks that we thought of, and the person we signed here today just happened to not be any single one of them. But Mike, I'll start with you since we've kind of been bantering back and forth here. We signed, and I'm see if I can get it right, Joe Juwan Williams. Williams is easy enough, but I believe the pronunciation is Joe Juwan, cornerback from the New England Patriots. Missed all of last year with a shoulder injury, but comes in at 6'4", 210 pounds. I'm saying that, okay, well, he fits the traits of a Flores defense here, but talk us a little bit. What are your thoughts on this signing here the Vikings did today, Mike?
No, Juwan Williams, I think it's a really good signing for what it represents. We talked about this before. We need a veteran corner that was not just named Byron Murphy. You cannot rely on a Caleb Evans, Andrew Booth, Tay Gowan, Kalen Barnes to just represent the cornerback room. And though those guys may surprise us, and I'm pulling for Tay Gowan to give me a follow on Twitter. I hope he has a fantastic preseason and wins a starting job. You want to rely on having more bodies than that. Yes, if someone surprises you, awesome, but you want to have as many veterans as possible because you lost Patrick Peterson, you lost Chris Boyd, you lost your nucleus and your locker room leaders in the quarterback room. So though this kid's still young, Juwan Williams, no, it's a fine sign for what it represents. Big, tall dude, and it's why I said they probably didn't bring back Duke Shelley because he didn't fit the height. Well, there you go. They go and sign a 6'4" corner.
And I imagine this is going to be nothing more than a veteran's minimum, which is about what they offered Duke Shelley here. Real quick, Kyle, before I throw it to you, Skull for Life, shout out to you. Thank you. You are in the building. Thank you kindly for joining us. Kyle, your thoughts on Joe Juwan, or I'm just going to call him well, I can't call him JJ.
No, I know. You can't even call him JJ.
Okay, we'll call him J-Dub. How about that? Until we get an official. I mean, I went off of what Wikipedia said, so it must be true. But Joe Juwan Williams, what do you got, Kyle?
I love it. Thank you so much. And I don't expect this guy to come in and be Antoine Winfield or somebody like that. Dude, you just need a body. He's a former second-round pick. If Bill Belichick trades up to get you, I like that. I'm okay with you having the whole season to recover. Same thing's happening for Scene and Booth. Bring them in. You just need bodies. That gives you leverage. And I don't want to spoil what we're going to talk about in a minute, but let's say you do trade Hunter and or Cook and or Smith. Maybe they do a little wheel and deal where they trade back a little bit. Now you can go get another corner and you still have picks. I love it. I love the size the most. I love a tall corner. I love somebody rangy. And if he can be up to form and just be a rotational player, that is a ballpark home run for the formula that Kwesi is doing right now. So I'm all for that. Thank God they did this before. Of course, it wasn't a name we had even thought about when you came on the show, but I don't care. That's what they get paid to do because they know every player and their brother out there. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I don't expect much, but it's that low risk, high reward signing. And that's kind of on par for what we've seen the last year from this head coach and GM. And I love it.
Dilly in the building. Thank you kindly again. He likes your comment that you like it just because it is a warm body. And that's the key too. Usually you have somewhere between 7 to 10 DBs on your roster. Granted, that's counting safeties too, but in camp, you gotta fill out that 90-man roster. And right now, up until this move, even with this move, we don't have a lot of depth there. Yes, we're counting on Booth Jr. and Caleb Evans, who have both had injury history, and along with a little bit of Lewis Cine as well. This just makes the most sense of all of the moves the Vikings could have made. Yeah, oh, hey, we could have signed a wide receiver. We could have done that. No, this was the move that makes the most sense. I honestly will say I will be happy if they do actually sign one more veteran cornerback, whether it's post the draft and, perhaps after they make the moves with Smith, Hunter, and Cook and free up some money that way to where, the back end round after the free agency post the draft. If you can get something, we mentioned Rocky Yasin on the podcast that we had done together here. And the reason I bring his name up again is because, again, he fits the Flores system. He fits the Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah age range. And I don't want to be pigeonholed into taking a cornerback in the draft with the first pick that we go with. We end up taking a quarterback or two. That's fine. But I don't want a pick to be forced there. I mean, am I onto something, Mike, or am I on something?
No, I fully agree with you. I actually don't care if it's a hot take. I do not want a first-round corner. I'm done with it. We've been there. We've done it.
Unless somebody really like if Joey Porter's
Yes, if Gonzalez falls from
Yeah.
Oregon or something like that,
right.
or Witherspoon, fine. Like if something like that happens, but that's not going to realistically happen. If you can't get one of the top two guys consensus-wise, don't overthink this. Go draft other positions, build up the receiver. Remember, like everyone keeps talking about corner. We need a receiver far more, in my opinion. No disrespect to KJ Osborne. He's a really good wide receiver 3. They need a guy behind JJ that can stretch the field. They need that. There was a big part of the. How many times, Justin, when we did our show with Kyla last year, did we say it was JJ or Hawk or bust? How many times?
All the games that we won, it was that, and all the games we lost, it was because we didn't have that.
Exactly.
It really did boil down to that, unfortunately. I mean, look at the Philly game. JJ did nothing. We didn't have Hawkinson yet. JJ
Dallas.
had a Dallas, nobody did
game
anything.
so bad.
Green Bay, nobody did anything. Now, the Detroit game in Detroit that we lost, JJ and Cousins absolutely had a great game there. And that was, I remember the post-game rant that I did with SK. I was just like, you just wasted one of Kirk Cousins' best performances because Kevin O'Connell was trying to outsmart himself. But just want to give a shout out to anybody who's watching us over on your channel at the Purple People Podcast. Feel free to leave your comments. We don't bite. In fact, we encourage the interaction here. As you can see, all of my usuals and all the companies that I normally keep with have already kept that chat going. So, but if you could, the only thing we ask is kind of like when you go to a guest house, you take your shoes off. Taking your shoes off on a podcast on YouTube is simply hitting the like button for us to make sure we get that YouTube algorithm smashed. But Bob wants to throw in, hey, Jalen Naylor can play. Naylor hardly know her. But jokes aside, I guess let's just get this one out of the way. We had this conversation earlier, and I'm going to throw this somewhat serious and somewhat tongue-in-cheek. But do you guys think that KJ Osborne is, an okay player, or do you think he's, what do you think of KJ Osborne, you guys? Mike, I'll start with you.
I think he's a quality wide receiver.
Do you think he's quality?
Yes, I'm going to move off of this. All right, go ahead, Kyle.
All right, Kyle, do you think he's a quality wide receiver?
I think he's more than quality.
Wow.
I was sitting 2 years ago, not this past season, but the year before. I moved back home to Charlotte on Columbus Day. And then that Sunday, right before I started, the Vikings played in Carolina. It was Mike Zimmer's last year. And I watched KJ Osborne get the go-ahead touchdown in overtime.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say he single-handedly because a lot of people made plays, but that dude hit the spark on that Indianapolis game, and we were getting the crap beat out of us by a terrible team.
I was there.
Yeah, he's quality wide receiver. He's a good player. Yeah.
In all seriousness, I don't have an issue because it's my thought process on KJ too that I like him as a number 3 wide receiver, and it's no disrespect to him that I say I'm not sure that he could fill the shoes of a number 2 wide receiver. It's not the disrespect, and it's not hating on him or anything. It's certain guys perform well in certain roles. We talked about Duke Shelley a little bit earlier. Duke Shelley was a phenomenal 4th cornerback and a phenomenal red zone cornerback. But you try to take Duke Shelley and all of a sudden make him the starting cornerback opposite of Byron Murphy. Sometimes you're putting him in a position to be unsuccessful because it's not, something he's got the strengths for, something he's suited for. I think KJ Osborne in spurts last year provided the sparks. You talked about the Indianapolis game that we had mentioned, as well as the first Detroit game where he caught the game-winning touchdown with less than a minute left, as well as a lot of different efforts this season. In fact, he scored one of the touchdowns in the playoff game. But it's not a matter of that he's not quality. It's just I think he's best suited to be a number 3 wide receiver. But to say that we don't have any quality wide receivers whatsoever is utterly preposterous. Mike, did you want to throw anything last in here before I throw it back to the comments real quick?
Yeah, I did. KJ's role kind of reminds you of what Van Jefferson was in the Rams, right?
Yes.
You had Odell, you had Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
But he did his role, and when he was needed and when he was called upon, he did a job. Look, do I think KJ Osborne is, a top-tier wide receiver? Probably not, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Right.
But does he fill his role perfectly? Yes. And that's a quality wide receiver 3.
And you know what it is? I don't want him to think, I am going to make a comparison, but we had it on years past, about 8 years ago. You know who I've been looking for? And we've had it pretty consistently. They've just been very good. We had a Jarius Wright who did his job very well. And that one season with Aldrick Robinson, why the hell didn't he come back? All he did was catch touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think it was a money thing because he was a vested veteran, and I don't know. I'm just guessing, but
I'm with you guys here. I'm not saying I don't know if he can be a wide receiver too. I just think it's smart, like at any position, to include wide receiver, quarterback, corner, whatever. The more the merrier.
Yes.
So find another one and make sure they do different things, because we know what JJ does well. We know what KJ does well. Get a burner out there, like Mike said. Why not? What can you lose in an offensive-driven league with an offensive-minded coach? I mean,
exactly.
He's only, like you said. I'm repeating what you guys said. He's only going to benefit from that, and that's not saying like, oh, I don't want him on the team. Hell no, I want him on the team.
Of course, yes. I was upset when they went. I was upset when they got rid of Jarius Wright. And why did they get rid of him? Well, because they had drafted Laquan Treadwell, and Laquan Treadwell was on a rookie contract. And we got rid of Jarius Wright. And what have we been doing since then? Trying to find Jarius Wright's replacement. Okay. Anyway, I like Worthless. I'll let you go, Mike. I'm sorry. I like Worthless's comment here. KJ, best wide receiver 3 in the league, but he's not a deep threat I want from a wide receiver 2. Exactly. And that's not hatred. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
And I just want to throw one last thing out here with this KJ Osborne discussion. Like, they need to bring in another body, but that's not a shot at KJ.
Right.
The wide receiver room was thin last year. They got, if we're being perfectly honest, we were like, if there was an injury, not whether there wasn't, you would have been relying on rookie Jalen Naylor realistically to be the next man up, or Jalen Rieger, which was a fun experience. That was a fun experience, Jalen Rieger.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure how I feel about that long term. But I digress. At least he's a good punt returner. If he does that for many years, that's good enough for me, because we've been waiting to talk about guys who've been wanting to replace for years. Marcus Sherrills was another one who was literally a punt returner. Dude. You know, so same idea.
No, totally, I agree. Naylor. Seriously. No, it's funny. When they made that trade with Philadelphia for Rager, I'm just like, okay, we got a nice solid punt return and a guy that can come in. And I think he had a total of 7 to 10 catches. Yeah, not so much. Anyway, let's move off of the wide receiver talk here, Ramon. So let's just wipe out the rest of the discussion about people being traded or re-signed. Zadarius Smith. Let me ask you guys the question this way. Do you think it behooves the Vikings to try to find a way to keep at least one of Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter? Or if it's just not in the cards, we'll just have to make do with what we do if we do get rid of both of them, assuming we can get some value one way or the other. Kyle, I'll start with you on that one.
I'd like to keep one or the other, yes. Ideally, they're both under contract. Now, I don't know how ugly that would get, but there's pros and cons to both, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I have pulled up here, I have a player we could replace for the edge very well. But if you're going to get rid of somebody, I just want you to get capital back. And at this point, the Vikings are kind of desperate. Get any capital. Let's just get anything. Obviously, you don't want to get fleeced, but it was very weird, and we've said this before, so I won't go too long on it. But it's very weird to have a guy who comes in, helps the team, give him a spark, and then he posts like a goodbye, going away thing. It's like, dude, nobody's let you go. What are you doing? Now, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting the team. So just chill, like behind closed doors. Keep it there. But if I have to go down and pick one or the other, I'm keeping Danielle Hunter. Just solely for the fact that if he's gone, God, it's going to be a lot of money to not have him play for us.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I mean, it's common sense, I think, but I mean, that's just my opinion on it.
Mike?
No, I'm with Kyle. You have to keep one. I mean, it's a necessity. You cannot let both go this late in the process. But I will say this. If you let Zadarius Smith go, you want to talk about a guy who could be a 1-year, rejuvenation project. Jadeveon Clowney's still available. That would be a lot of fun to have a rotation of Clowney, Hunter, and Davenport. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just throwing it out there. But I don't think he's going to get, a crazy amount of money. And I think there's a chance you could get Jadeveon Clowney on a 1-year deal for like $7 million.
Yes.
If you could get something like that done and you draft a corner, but you still have that edge, spot available. Because like I said, if Zeke goes, you do need to fill that spot. And I don't really want to do it with a draft pick. Jadeveon Clowney would be another name to throw out there.
I like that too, Mike, because he's kind of been he's well into this now. It's not like he just did this. He's basically a mercenary for hire the last couple of years.
Literally.
I'm totally okay with that. I didn't even think of that. Such a great point. Yeah, I'd be all right with that.
I'll say this. You remember this time last year, Mike? Well, a little bit before, when towards the end of the season of Zimmer's last year, where I said I wanted to move off Zimmer, I wanted to move off Spielman, and I wanted to move off Kirk. And one of the things you had said to me was, I hear what you're saying, but getting rid of all three of those key positions simultaneously, you're asking for trouble. All I will say is if you're going to get rid of both Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter, with all due respect to Davenport, okay, guess what? We signed you to be a piece. Now, guess what? Those two pieces that were ahead of you are both gone, and now your expectation level just went up a little bit there. So there is part of me that really, really wants this Danielle Hunter thing to work out, because I think if you can find a way to get him a contract that is amenable to him without breaking the bank, it still gives you some sort of continuity. I mentioned it earlier about wanting to see him with Flores as opposed to Donachelle, and I do still think that Danielle Hunter has a couple, 2-3 years left of high-level play there. But if he's going to be asking for, something short of Nick Bosa money, I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen at that point, right?
I agree. This is the thing, though, Justin. Okay, with all due respect to Danielle Hunter, unless he's willing to sign a 2-year extension with an upgrade in pay for this year, so 3 more years on the books for an upgraded pay, I don't think Quincy's going to come close to negotiations. Like, I think this – I honestly could see Hunter going. And it's a weird situation, and it's not ideal, but it is what it is. And I will say this, Jadeveon Clowney, if you did bring him in, you want about a guy who could have like 10 sacks out of nowhere because he's so sporadic. Right. He could actually fill the void for a year, and then you go and get a guy younger. And this is the thing, like, with Danielle, you got to be careful. He's not young anymore, right? He's not 26 years old. He's 29 in October. I don't know if you want to give him a 4 or 5 year deal, right? Like,
no, I'm not giving him.
And by the way, Justin, as we always say, get your money. Yeah. I just don't think it makes sense in Minnesota. I just don't.
I mean, again, I don't know what you could possibly get for him in trade value. I mean, obviously, again, as I gave an example earlier. If Buffalo said, you know what, we'll give you the 27 pick for Danielle Hunter. Okay.
Done.
Yeah. I'll take the extra $18 million dead, so $5 extra more million I got to find out for absolutely nothing. But for something like that, yes. If the best that I can get is a, Buffalo's 3rd round pick, because again, think about this. With whatever you're going to sign Jadeveon Clowney to, if Danielle Hunter was amenable to taking that, I'd rather just keep, I'd rather just keep Danielle Hunter if you've got to spend that kind of money for it. I mean, that's just me, though. What do you think?
That's the thing. It comes down to price, right? With Clowney, I generally think he'll take a 1-year deal for $8 million fully guaranteed, something along those lines, maybe less. I don't know. Depends on how long he's a free agent for. But with Hunter, like, he's going to want a significant upgrade in pay and raise and pay, and he deserves it. By the way, he deserves to be making between 18 and 20 million. The thing is, I don't think Quincy's going to give it to him. No. I mean, I just don't. If you look at the way he negotiates, he wants to keep guys through a certain threshold of age. Danielle doesn't fit it. And, we all can agree, I would imagine, they're going to prioritize Hawkinson and JJ. And they should, by the way. And they should. I just don't see how it fits. I could be wrong. I'd love to see Danielle Hunter back. How would you not? It's just going to be extremely difficult. And we said this for months. The last time we had Kyle on, we talked about Danielle Hunter because we knew this was coming down the pipeline.
Yep, exactly. Seems to always come full circle with us, Kyle. Whether I'm on your show and the next time we're back, we're talking Danielle Hunter or cornerbacks. It always seems to come back to this. Well, we're going to get to what everybody came here for in just a couple of moments, and that is the Vikings mock. But, of course, I have to give a shout-out to my brother, Too Evil to Hope. I'm still waiting on Randy to sign the jersey for you before I mail it out, before you go to the bit. See, Too Evil's got this bit where he said I was going to give away one of my jerseys and that he won it. And I'm like, yeah, that's just not going to happen. But Purple Gang, absolutely. Thank you kindly, everybody, for joining us. We always do appreciate that. Having said all that, before we get to the mock, what do you think? Because once we decide to start doing the mock, we're going to all agree upon a strategy we'll go with. But what do you think as of right now, and I'll start with you, Kyle, what do you think the Vikings approach is going to be? Do you think they're going to try to move up? Do you think they're going to try to hang back and maybe trade back? What does your gut tell you the likely scenario is at this point in time?
Value, trade back. I think there will be a couple of players, not that we would eye so preciously, but they'll be there at 23. Maybe we don't need them. Maybe we don't have as high a grade. They'll take a phone call. They'll go back 5, 6, 7, 8 spots, whatever it is. You get a second out of that, and then you're sitting pretty. You still get a 5th-year option on a first-round player. You get your second back. I think it's a smart move. I think it's a safe move, and it's not the safe as we talked about the other day where scared money doesn't make money. If you go up and get a quarterback, I'm all for it, man. Do whatever you want to do, but if I'm running the team, if Kyle Smith is running the team, I am getting more draft picks because we don't have that many, and I know I can get more value. Just don't trade with Detroit. Thanks.
Please don't trade with Brett
Or
Holmgren.
Chicago for that matter. Mike, your thoughts?
All right, so I will make this one prediction. This isn't very bold, but I will say it. They will not stay at 23. They will either go up or they're going to trade down. Everyone who thinks they're going to take, spend that 23rd overall pick, keep dreaming. If he was willing to go down 20 spots last year,
yeah,
and he has less capital than he did a year ago, I'm pretty confident he's going to either go nuts and go all the way up for his quarterback of the future, or he's going to move down. But if I was Quessy, what I would do, I'd go with the quarterback. I mean, that's the fun part, right? Like, go and get your guy. There's only two guys that I want, so the odds of them actually going and getting one of those guys is very difficult. But that's what I would like to see.
Mike wants Tanner McKee. We know about it. I'm going to talk about him later. Spoiler alert, we're ruining the show right now.
That's your guy that you want to trade up to 3-4 is Tanner McKee, Mike? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, no, he got me. I almost laughed there, Kyle. Well done. They did meet with Tanner McKee, though, so there was a chance they could take him at 23.
Where did this guy come from? How did this guy out of
Stanford?
No. Where did this speculation about Tanner McKee? And then I look into this guy and I'm like, why are we even talking about him? I'm sorry. I don't mean it, no disrespect to the kid. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just like, really?
In my little
in the first round?
No, not the first round. He's got a 3rd round grade. It's so funny. He's a 4-star recruit in 2018. I just thought it was hilarious because there's all this. Oh, it's Anthony Richardson. It's Will Levis. It's C.J. Stroud. It's like, no. It's going to be a boring 3rd round, 4th round quarterback, and you'll be like, damn it. That's what's going to happen.
Like,
you guys, that's going to happen now.
Don't say that, Kyle. I don't want a corner. But in all seriousness, like, this is the thing with the quarterback situation is usually you don't want to tip off who you're taking. And I am probably hurting myself with that logic. But they never talked to C.J. Stroud. A boy can dream. Wouldn't
be mad at it. Justin, what do you think they're going to do?
I think they're going to trade up for Anthony Richardson. And I'm going to speak that into existence. One way or another. No, I think that their desire is to move up and get one of the top quarterbacks. I'm going to say it like that. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that they're going to be reckless about it. Like, if they wanted to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks, they could already make a deal with Arizona. Right now, you could say to Arizona, Danielle Hunter, Dalvin Cook, 3 first-round picks. And Arizona would probably be interested in something like that. If they, just like Carolina, they didn't waste any time. They traded up with Chicago and said, no. We're trading up to the number 1 pick so that we are guaranteed to take the guy that we want and we don't care the cost. If the Vikings wanted to get one of the top 3, they could trade up with Arizona or even Houston for that matter. They could trade up with one of those 2 right now and get it. I think what they're trying to do is I think that they're trying to acquire that quarterback, but I think they're trying to, here's an idea, not pay as big a premium as they absolutely have to. I don't think that there is any shot. And I would love to be wrong about this. Contrary to the people in my life who tell me I never like to admit or want to be wrong, I would love to be wrong when I say there is no chance on God's green earth that trade with the New York Jets, with Anthony Richardson falling all the way to 14, where the Vikings then trade up with the Jets and only have to move up 9 spots and only have to give up their first and a first next year. If that happens, I'll leave town. I mean, I'll come back the next day, but I'll leave town. But jokes aside, all I'm saying is this. There is no chance that happens. And if it did, I would run around after midnight and yelling in the streets, and I would do a couple of cartwheels if you could get that guy at 14 and not have to completely sell half the farm to get him. Having said that, would I move up right now to 3 to do it? Yes, that's what I would do. But then again, I'm biased because at this point, I'm ready for that next step. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I don't think the Vikings are willing to move up to 3 that recklessly and easily. So no. I think they're trying to split the difference. I think they're hoping that some crazy stuff happens and that despite the fact that up until today, the first 2 picks are going to be quarterbacks, and by the time pick number 10 goes around, Richardson will be gone and somebody else will take Will Levis at 10, and that if you want one of the top 4 guys, you got to get into 10. I think that they're hoping that there's a little fallage there so that they don't have to give up so many picks. That's what I think that what their goal is.
Guys, I
Can I?
apologize. I'm going to step away for 1 minute and turn these lights on and get these dogs in, but I will be right back.
Oh,
guys.
yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
Can
Go
I?
ahead, man.
Can I touch on that quickly, Justin?
Yeah.
So I came to this consensus, and this probably wouldn't be particularly popular, but I'll do it anyway. I only want to trade it for C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. You probably already thought that anyway.
No, I had a
But
hunch.
I've with Richardson and Will Levis. I don't know if you knew this or seen these reports. Again, it could be lies. I mean, it's lying season, right? But I did see a report that 3 teams in the NFL don't have first-round grades on either Richardson or Levis. Those are not guys I want to trade up for unless I'm literally giving up 87 and 23. That's it. Like I have such a low bar on those two, and I grade them so similarly because there's so many variables that could go wrong. If you're going to do it, fine, but it's got to be at the right price range for me personally.
I mean, again, would I do it if you told me right now it's going to cost you 3 first-round picks in Danielle Hunter, but if you don't give up that price, there's zero chance that you could get Anthony Richardson as an example. Would I pay that price? Yes. If you told me right now, hey, you don't need to pay that much for him. You can sit around and wait, and you can trade up with, say, the Vegas Raiders at pick 7, and then it's only going to cost you Danielle Hunter and 2 first-round picks. Okay, I'm fine with that too. My threshold is I want one of those top 3 guys, and so I'm willing to do what it takes. Having said that, yeah, the Vikings are not going to make a move pre-draft to get up that high, I don't think.
Not under question.
Not under question. They're going to try to win on the margins. They're going to try to, squeeze as much out of the stock price as they can. I'm just saying that I hope that they ultimately end up making that move. And we're going to be live on all of the channels across all of the Purple and Gold media platforms here. So if y'all don't already know, first off, if you don't already subscribe to Purple and Gold for Days, please do so. Head on over after the show to Purple People Podcast and give my boy Kyle and his crew some likes and subscribes. But Purple and Gold for Days, Purple Pocket Podcast, Minnesota Sports Talk, Gigi Scold, and Purple and Gold Media, we will be doing a 5-channel simulcast the night of the draft. We will have a cavalcade of guests. Number 1 confirmed guest is Alexander Madison's dad will be joining us. He has worked with both SK and Dave in the past, so he will be joining us along with a cavalcade of other as well. So if you don't already subscribe to all the channels, hit the like buttons and hit the subscribe buttons with the notification bells there. I'm just saying it's going to be wild one way or the other, because the one thing I don't want is I don't want to not trade up, get to 22, and then we flip the switch to it's pick 23, the Vikings are on the clock, and 10 seconds later, somebody else has already traded into our pick. That's going to drive me crazy. And I know it might be the right move, but that's going to drive me crazy.
It depends on the board falls. Like, I'm not against the train. Obviously, you know where I stand on this. If CJ Stroud's there at 3, go up, give up the picks, be done with it, and get your guy. But it does depend on the board falls. Because, say, for example, goes 1 Young, which I think we all can agree on at this point. It looks like it's heading that way based off the betting odds changing today. 2, Will Anderson, most likely. 3 is probably where CJ Stroud will go, whatever team gives it the highest price to Arizona. And then you got 4 Anthony Richardson to the Colts, probably or possibly. Right. So at that point, like if the board falls like that and Minnesota can't be the highest bidder, see if Levis falls to 23. If not, trade out. That's what I would do personally, depending on how the board falls. I do want to ask you quickly, Justin, since Kyle just came back, just to really make this quick. Is Richardson your number 1 quarterback of this draft?
No, he's not my number 1 quarterback. What he is, to me, I believe Richardson has the highest upside. That's what Richardson is to me. I believe that right now, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young could start without having to sit out for a year. I think Anthony Richardson needs to sit out for a year. But I also think that the best realization of Anthony Richardson is higher than the best realization of either Stroud or Young. Hold on just a second here. I don't know what Rap is talking about, trying to say that I got him locked or something. What? Send me again another one, Rap. Hold up.
I agree with you, Justin. I don't.
Anyway, you guys go. I'm gonna try to get him fixed up.
I think that Stroud and Young present 2 different ways of play. The only knock I have on Bryce Young is the size. But I said this in a space with you, and I might have said it on the show before. But for the guys listening that haven't seen me on here before or tuned into my show, I heard a little thing about, I think it was on Colin Cowherd, one of the guys, I think it was Joel Klatt or somebody like that, said Bryce Young will go out and run his wide receivers routes just for fun, and he'll run them perfectly. He's an amazing athlete. He's super smart. You have to be good if you're playing for Nick Saban. He's not going to play any scrubs. Saw that in the national championship game. He'll pull you out of one so he can win the game. I like him. For what I saw, for my money, my number one is C.J. Stroud, because the whole time he was at Ohio State, he played in the pocket. He did well. And that game against Georgia, the coach said, all right, man, all the chips are in. Do your thing. And I saw him be mobile and run around, not using his legs primarily, but getting out of the pocket. And he looked awesome. The kicker lost in that game. They could have won the national championship. So that's why he's up there. But I see your point, and I said this on our space and on our call, I love the size and the athleticism of an Anthony Richardson. The problem is, I'm not even worried about the completion percentage. You have coaches to fix that. The problem is you don't have enough playing time. So is 1 year going to be enough? I don't know. But with Kirk being here, and if we got him, he's going to sit. There's not going to be any. Oh, yeah. I don't know if Anthony Richardson's going to play. It doesn't matter if Kirk was doing terrible. He's getting paid $30-something million. He's starting all these games. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't care about Will Levis one way or the other. I don't care about him.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
If they come, they come. I just want the price to be right. But yeah, I like C.J. Stroud, and you're right. If Houston does the unthinkable and doesn't take one, they had better be speed dialing Arizona and be like, blank check, what is it? Go get him.
Let me get some shouts in here. I've had the name up there, but Angel, thanks for joining us. Thank you, kindly appreciate it. I got a new one in here. We got Andrew.
Is this your boy Andrew?
Is this your boy?
Man? He's there. He is there for every show for us. Thank you for tuning in, man.
Awesome. Hey, thanks kindly for joining us. Hit them like buttons on the way in, and if you like what we got going on, hit the subscribe button to my channel as well. SK is in the building. He says Young is greater than Stroud. We had that conversation earlier today, but it's going to take a year of sitting and learning, then another year for developing on the field. Are you talking about Richardson? Which one are you talking about there, SK, just to be on the safe side? But I've said it before, I'll say it again. The reason I want to make a quarterback move this draft is because we have Kirk Cousins under contract for one more year. I don't want to extend Kirk Cousins next year and get a guy next year, and I don't want to bring in a bridge quarterback because, by the way, assuming everything goes as well as it can for the season, this season, you're going to be drafting in the late teens, early 20s again. And if you don't have Kirk Cousins, any team you try to trade for is going to know that you're desperate and is going to be asking you for more. So with all that being said, I want to get it done here this year, but for some reason, my guy Rap is trying to get into the chat, and for some reason, it's not letting him in, and I have absolutely no idea why, because there is no way on God's green earth I would block my skull brother there. But having said all that, I'm gonna get this stream set up here so that we can do the mocks here. But I'm gonna throw it out to the listeners there before we get the mock started here. Any other particular topic or question that you guys want to throw out there while we get this going? Let's see. Houston is inquiring about Rodgers, Bob says. Is that right?
Can I be honest with this?
Yeah.
I'm just going to get off my chest because this annoys me. I heard San Fran a week ago. He's going to the Jets. Please. It's all media garbage spin. They want their clicks. He is going to the New York Jets. It's just a matter of price.
Kyle? What's your thoughts on this Aaron Rodgers bid? Why don't you give our listeners your thoughts?
It's the same thing. The door is closed on Green Bay. I think he would retire if that's what it came to. His legacy cemented. I think he would be fine with saying, I'll go do whatever I want now. I think the idea of proving everybody wrong because he is that kind of guy with the chip on his shoulder, he wants to do that. And don't get it twisted. They are a quarterback away, and I think they'll even compete with the Bills to win the East if he goes over there. The problem is, who's going to give first? And the Jets could be smart. I said this on my show not too long ago, was they can wait till after the draft and say, no, we're getting all our picks this year, and we'll give you next year's first round now. And then the Packers, you don't get to move up a little bit, but you still get compensation later. He's off the books, blah, blah, blah. But it's the Jets or bust. If he doesn't go to the Jets, I don't see another team because I don't think he wants to play for Houston. And he can be like, no, I'm retiring. Thanks.
And this is the thing. Joe Douglas got a second-round pick for Elijah Moore, who was literally not playing for the Jets, basically. He was literally on the back end of their depth chart because he couldn't stay healthy, and he was a culture problem, and they traded him for a second. Joe Douglas is a fantastic GM. He's not going to overthink this. He knows. I'm just outbidding myself. I'm going to, squeeze the Packers and screw them over. Why wouldn't I? I have nothing to lose. I'm betting against myself. I'm not going to overbid.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense to me at all. You know what? Here's the thing. I just want this Rodgers thing to be done. I'm sick of it.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary. You know what? Yeah. Rodgers, don't care where he goes. Tired of it. I agree 100%. Rap, I just looked, and I don't have anybody on my block users list, but let's just test this theory out. Go over to Purple People Podcast. That's our guest page there as well, and see if you can like and see if you can put a comment in there just out of curiosity, because I don't know why you're not coming through here, my brother, but I digress. Let's see what we got going on. I don't want us to draft at 23. I agree with you, Mike. I think that there is a very small chance that they're actually going to draft at 23. They're either going to move up or down. I don't think they're going to stay at 23 whatsoever. So I agree with Sarah on that one there. SK, what's good? Skull Mafia, what's good? Okay, let's see. All right, what are y'all thoughts on Duggan? They would talk about it in the chat.
Are you talking about Max Duggan out of TCU? You got to be kidding me.
I didn't get to it earlier because I was looking at some other things. But all right, let's just go through it. What do you so I take you don't like him, Mike?
No, everyone likes to go off on me about Stetson Bennett being a 6th-round pick. At least he's a winner, and at least he actually has a decent arm and hits his receivers on. I watched the national title game. Max Duggan is not particularly good, at least in my opinion.
It's unfair for that because they were going to get their shit rocked anyways in that game.
Sure.
But I agree. And here's the reason I'm out on him. I don't hate him as a person. I don't even hate him as a player.
No.
If you're going to get a quarterback, I need one that's going to be a franchise dude, not somebody that is fighting for backup spot or whatever. I don't need another freaking Joe Webb or somebody like that. And I'm sorry I'm comparing you to Joe Webb, but you're not going to see any playing time, dude. You're not.
No.
And I don't want to do that whole thing of like, this is like the heartwarming story. No. I need a dude that, like, when he comes in, the whole locker room's like, oh man, we got the guy. Like, this is the dude. And I want someone that Justin Jefferson that's like, I can't wait to play with that guy. I don't think Max Duggan is the guy that's like getting Justin Jefferson all around.
I don't think so. And just let me throw one last thing out here. To your point, Colin, it's actually a really good one. You want a guy to, get this culture and this locker room going. And you know what else that will do? He'll get Kirk Cousins to play the most motivated football of his entire life. So worst case, he plays great. We have a fun season, and then we have our guy. And, worst case, he leaves, and he has a terrible season, right? Like, it's a win-win if you go and get your guy. I don't understand this idea. How dare we consider moving on for Kirk Cousins? It's nuts. It's nuts.
One of these days, Kyle, we're going to introduce you to Rap and have you sit in on an episode we do with Rap. Because
wasn't he on one recently where he was like pounding the table for Lamar? Was that the same guy?
Yes.
Well, he was pounding the table for Lamar in the context of anything but Kirk. Okay, so
He
came through on your channel. I don't know why. I don't know, Rap. I did not block you, dude. I swear. But anyway, Purple Pocket Podcast. If you don't already subscribe, most of Purple Gang is up in here. But if by chance a couple of those people are watching in on your channel there, Purple Pocket Podcast is who we're talking about here. He's one of my inspirers. But it's one of those, he's like me. He's ready to move off of Kirk. If my only two choices were Kirk or Lamar for 3 years, I'm taking Lamar. I think the idea was he was fighting the same dumb notion that, well, if we got Lamar, Justin Jefferson's not going to be happy and he's going to want to leave because Lamar's not going to be like Kirk Cousins is the only person that can throw Justin Jefferson the ball. That's I think is where we yes.
Can I throw one last thing out here with the Lamar Jackson stuff? Exactly. At least in my opinion, for what I got around, no, he likes him because he won the MVP and he thinks he's a really good player. And I like Lamar Jackson too. With me, you know this, Justin. I'm not going to kill a dead horse here. Whatever. But it came down to the price point. It's just not going to be worth giving up what you're going to have to give up. Because here's the thing, right? We're talking about 3 1s, right? We're talking about 3 1s to get our guy who's cheap. You have to give up 2 1s as of now without renegotiating with Baltimore and then paying Lamar. No thanks for that. Absolutely not.
No, I agree. Again, for me, the conversation is done at this particular point in time. Yeah, that's too evil to hold. That's his spiel. He loves he loves getting.
I love how much he references Zimmer.
Mike going, but that's
your new quarterback's coach, Mike Zimmer, for the Minnesota Vikings.
I hope so, man. That would be brilliant. Yeah. Kirk Cousins would love it, wouldn't he? He'd love it.
Think about that.
I thought they were going to fight that one day on the sideline. I was like,
Oh, you know what's real
This
funny? I
close.
don't know. Hey, did you guys see the last game of the season with the Timberwolves when those two guys got into it a little bit?
Rudy? Yeah, I seen it.
Rudy. Okay, so I cut up a little short of Rudy and Anderson getting into it, and it cut right over to Zimmer and Cousins getting into it, and I got the background check. Why can't we be friends?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, that was one of my better works. You're completely plagiarizing other people's work, but that's beside the point. Well, having said that, any final topics before we hit the Bob? I'm putting out the bat signal for you, Bob, because I told Bob you'll get to be the one to say it. Because he just loves doing the mocks there. So I'll just say, get it ready, Bob, and I'll tell you when to send it. But in all seriousness, thanks, Mary. I appreciate it. Any other topics you guys want to hit up real quick before we get to the main event here?
No, I'm just laughing at Purple and Gold Media, so let's insult Kirk and invite him on the show. I wouldn't ask him a single football question. I'm telling you, if I ever got a chance, I would bomb or it would get the most hate and most views because it's stupid. I'd be like, what's your favorite TV show?
Yeah.
What's your go-to pregame meal? I would ask him zero about how's my.
I think he'd like that, honestly.
Absolutely, you would. And who cares?
Yeah.
What's the underrated TV show you'll die on a hill for?
Right.
That's what I want to do.
Right. G Max in the house. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. It must mean. Hopefully we get a couple more because I know Rhino was going over there too. So thanks kindly for joining. If you don't already subscribe, check out my Purple People podcast. That's our guest Kyle's channel. See, that's the fun thing when you and Rap in the building. We got Purple Pocket podcast and Purple People podcast. You got the double triple P, and at the end of the day, it's one of those deals where holy cow, I better get this right here. What's your favorite hamburger place? Love that one. What music does he listen to get hype? Well, we already know who are those guys that he had for his wedding or whatever. I digress.
I have no idea. I'm not a certain Kirk Cousins supporter. I have no idea about questions like that.
All right, I put out the bad thing. Yeah, what's my Creed? Thank you, Dylan. Thank you. I see. I wasn't totally crazy. Somebody knew what I was talking about. That's a lot of things. Yes, it is.
You got to get your chin pronounced when you do that for Kirk when he comes out.
No kidding. All right, let me see if I can get this new setup configuration that we had spent so much time. All right, now everybody out in the chat, I tried to do this reconstruction of these windows here as best I could here. So let me know if that is visible, and if not, then we'll just take our pictures off of the stream for a while to get that up there. But I got you, Dave. That look good? Yeah, no, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Dylan. I appreciate you. I will die on the Creed Hill. I jammed them monthly. Yeah.
I love them. I love them.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I digress. Draft screen a little small. All right, let me see if I can adjust this to make this bigger.
Yeah, Justin, I'm not telling you how you should, but that one where we're all on the side and it's bigger and I can see it better that way. I can sort of see it this way, but
let's just do that.
Let's do that one if you don't care.
No, it doesn't bother me one bit. Is that better? Somebody in the chat give me at least it's not Nickelback. Oh, that's funny. All right, in the chat, give me a yes or no. Give me 2 or 3 people in the chat. Tell me if that looks good for you guys on the screen there before I yes. All right, thank you, Mary. All right, so now I just need to get back over here.
Crazy horses.
Exactly. All right. So I'm going to turn this down to about medium. That way we can jump in whatever we want. So is either one of you guys used this board here before?
Well, I used to before they put a pay window on it, but I have an idea. Yeah.
So what should I be using for these? How this is simulated? Should they be about 50-50 each way, or what do you think?
Something like that seems fine. Yeah, that seems fine.
All right. And we're going to select the Vikings.
Make sure you click 3.
Oh, yes. We'll do 3 rounds. Good point. Enter the draft. Okay, so Carolina is on the clock. We haven't started. Now, can you only trade with a team when they are on the clock?
Yeah, no. You could do it beforehand.
You can do it before.
Oh, yes, as long as it's not active. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it'll go by fast if you do it that way.
Okay.
So it's best to do before. If not, you'll have to click stop, and hopefully they haven't picked yet. But
yeah, I put it on relatively slow to give us enough time to start in. So we'll just start. We know we're not trading up to get Carolina. They took C.J. Stroud right off the bat. Any surprises with that, gentlemen? Mike?
It's not ideal. But because I feel like Young's coming off next, but that's okay.
All right, let's go to the next one here. And Bryce Young. So, all right, we'll go through the draft without trading up to 3 the first time, and we'll do it the second time, and then we'll get some fan involvement here as well. You're going to have to help me with the chats too, by the way, because I can't see the chat and the big board simultaneously here. So we're just going to let this. I'm sorry.
It'll tell you if you haven't used it yet. If they're on the clock, they'll pick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they picked Tyree Wilson at edge.
Anthony
Richardson pick.
Jalen Carter.
That would be scary in Seattle.
Yeah, very much would be. I'm going to pause it for a second. That's the slowest setting. All right, fine.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 6 picks in. We got Stroud, we got Young, we got Wilson, Richardson, Carter, and Lucas Van Ness. Is this the part where we make a trade for Will Levis, gentlemen?
My vote is no.
No. Like I said, I wouldn't trade for him or Richardson. Honestly.
There we go.
Guys in the chat, you know what we're going to say here. If we let it fall how it does, which is what it looks like we're doing,
right.
I'm going to see what player is there, first of all, at 23, but I'm going to see trade offers because someone's going to offer you a trade there.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just recap here. So we got Will Levis, then we got Will Anderson, then we got Paris Johnson, tackle from Ohio State, another tackle. So we have a couple tackles off the board right off the bat.
Will Anderson at 9. Goodness.
Yeah, think about that. That's a steal for Chicago to be able to trade all the way back.
Yeah, that won't happen.
And still get Will Anderson there. But any moves to make here now or let it run for a couple, 2, 3?
I'm good to let it run. What about you?
I'd let it go all the way, honestly. That's just me, though.
All right, Devon Witherspoon, Quentin Johnson at 13. Okay.
Another wide receiver.
Yeah. Interesting that they had Jackson go before Njigba there, but Gonzalez
at 15 would be something to look at, but you don't want to trade up for a corner. We've already said we don't want to do that.
We've done that. We've taken enough corners in my lifetime, Kyle, to not trade up for one.
Yeah.
There was part of me that was hoping
Seahawks got really good in this simulation. Really good, really fast. Jalen Carter and Joey Porter.
All righty. So we have reached the 23rd pick here, the last few picks here. Nolan Smith, Lions getting Nolan Smith's not bad either. And I was kind of hoping for Joey Porter to fall, but nevertheless. Okay, so we got some trade offers here. Let's see what we got going on. You guys are going to have to help direct. I don't know exactly how this works. So the Rams are.
So think about it the way you would if you were offering for this pick from wherever they are. They're going to get ours. You can get.
If you're wondering, just click that little thing just to where the Rams are, and then you can find out all the teams that are offering. The little the bar there. Yeah, if you click that, it will show you all the teams that are offering.
So in that selection with the Rams, you get
where it says LA Rams. If you click underneath there, click that, then it'll show you.
This right here.
Yeah. Yep, it should show.
Oh, all right. I get it now.
There you go. Yeah.
So Detroit.
So both of these situations, we're not going to get a first-round pick, so you don't get the 5th year. I don't know how the chat feels about that. I'm not too big of a fan of that. I'd like to still pick in the first round.
What? Seriously? Am I missing something?
No. This happens sometimes. Sometimes you don't get a good offer. So
what is all right? So help me understand. What is being offered here to us?
Nothing. But the Rams, the only teams interested are the Rams, Bucks, and Lions. Whatever Browns, whatever teams popped up. No, they just show that they were the teams that would actually want to trade with you. You could try other teams though.
No,
you could try that.
I was thinking that they were making offers to us. I'm like,
no.
Right, so in the same way, Justin, if you decided to pick one of those, you would do the compensation as what you think is fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right now, as we talk, I would say Cansey is a steal there because he's ranked 13 and the Vikings need the help. That's assuming that everybody wants to do it this way in this draft. As you guys know in the draft, so I'm taking over for a little bit, but we're letting this run down. This isn't the only one we're going to do. We're going to do multiple scenarios. So
yes, we'll do a few.
Can I ask you a question, Justin?
Yeah.
Did Bijan Robinson come off the board?
Nope, he's right there.
Because again, I know PFF's a little bit different with the way, but a realistic scenario I could see happening is if we tried to trade with the Bills, I bet you they'd be willing to go up 4 spots to take Robinson. I know obviously there's a little bit of bias there for me and the Bills, but that would be an idea.
All right, now I finally found
it. Here's my counter to that, Mike. They just drafted Cook last year. You still think they would? I know Robinson.
Yeah, I think they would. I generally think they still would because I think they are so done with having Josh Allen play hero ball
Mhm.
They want to hammer out this running back situation. They brought in Damian Harris at free agency. They brought in former Viking. I'm not kidding, Justin. Latavius Murray in a visit. I think they want to have a running back that can help Josh Allen so he doesn't have to run for 700 yards in the season anymore.
You know who else is just talking to me in my telepathic mind here? Saints need a running back too, because I don't know what the heck's going to happen with Alvin Kamara, and he's getting older. You could trade. You could also try a trade with them if you really wanted to. But I'm looking at here at the ranks for these. So are these guys worthy of the 23rd overall?
I think Zay Flowers is.
And I'm on NFL Draft Buzz. Zay Flowers is the 5th overall ranked. Jordan Addison at 4. Jalen Hyatt, they've already gone. Zay Flowers and Josh Downs, both right there. I don't know. Heard some good things about Zay Flowers. What do you guys think if you guys had to pick it down?
I was going to say, who said anything in the chat? Oh, what's up, Rhino? Good to see you. I'll check out your show when I'm done here. Thanks for bringing some of the people over here. I saw a few that came on over, so thank you for that. All right, so wide receivers, Flowers is there, Addison is there.
Those are probably Clancy, the only who had the 13 overall grade. If you want to boost up the line,
yeah, I like Cansey. I think he's a fun prospect if you wanted to just stick and pick.
Mm-hmm. All right, so should we offer a trade to Buffalo, or should we try to should we take one of the 3 players that we just mentioned here between?
Well, let's see it. If they take it, we're good. But they can also reject the trade.
I'd see what the Bills would be willing to do. I'd see.
All right, let's see what Buffalo's. So we're gonna give them 23 for 27, and what else?
Throw in their 3rd. What do you guys think? Throw in their 3rd. I try to be realistic with these things. That's what I think.
See, and it'll say right here where you see that Justin will say they are not interested for this pick. Yeah. They would obviously swap for nothing, but try right there for us. But try 91. See what they say.
Try 91. Am I missing something?
No, it would the bar would turn green. Doesn't look good.
They don't even want to trade up, huh?
No, I guess not.
Well, this is kind of.
Go ahead, Justin.
This is kind of silly that if we offered our 1st and 2nd to move back, that it wouldn't take.
That's the problem with PFF. Sometimes that happens. Right. Like I said, when teams are interested, it's weird. When teams aren't interested, they won't do it.
All right. Well, let's just stick and pick here. So we got Clancy, and then we got the 2 wide receivers. Put it in the chat here. Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, Clancy, or wild card. And if it's a wild card, tell me who it would be, because I don't see going past any one of those 2 wide receivers. Any other positions we should look at here?
We do have safety in the chat. Brian Branch is a stud. Yeah. That could be the Harrison Smith replacement. The problem is who's going to go in right now. It would be Cam Bynum, and then you have Seen and Branch on the bench. So I don't know how much I like that, but that would be a great rotation for safeties. What's the chat think? What are you guys overall feeling on that?
Let's see what they got.
I think the value is Cansey, but that's just me.
It depends what we want, guys, because Branch can play in the slot as well. But to me, Justin knows this from talking to me a million times over, but I don't want to take a slot guy in the 1st round. And that's where his primarily impact would be right away, because we're not going to start him at safety. I mean, not with Harry and Seen on the roster, so I'd go Cansey or Zay Flowers, but that's me.
Well, I got a Cansey in the chat. I got a Branch, but I like Cansey as well. So we got 1.5 there. Mozzie Smith, Robinson, go Flowers. So of course, there's no consensus here. They like Flowers. So I'm up to 3 Flowers. Now I'm up to 2 Addisons, 3 Addisons.
Here's your Addison. It's typed for whoever typed in the chat. He's an outstanding prospect who's a prototypical slot player with requisite speed.
Fun fact about Jordan Addison, he played with Kenny Pickett at University of Pittsburgh before transferring out to USC. So Pittsburgh could even take him before this point in the real draft.
He's a smaller guy. I'm looking at it now, 5'11", 173. So he is very light. But that doesn't mean much with the guys like Waddle and Devontae Smith killing it in the league right now.
That's true.
That's a good point.
That's very, very true.
I like Addison. If you guys want to do that too, like I'm open. A receiver would be my preference, though.
He is, and so I'm just on a regular website looking at this, but the power rankings for wide receivers in the draft, he is 4. He is behind Johnson, Smith and Jigba, and Hyatt. So if you have Addison, Flowers, and Downs, he's still available. If Addison is Downs, that's who they have right above him. And these guys are very close together. So it just depends on what, and they're all about the same size, same 40 time. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to leave it up to the chat. I'm narrowing it down to the 2 wide receivers here. So Addison or Flowers. We'll take 30 seconds, get them in the chats. Tell me what you think here, gentlemen.
Insert the Jeopardy music.
Yes. I should have thought of that. Why didn't I think of that? It's beyond me, but there you go. All right. Flowers is more of a speedster, so I got, all right, so Addison and Flowers. All right, it's 2-1. We got 15 seconds left. You want to get your vote in, make it count. Because in 10 seconds, I'm stopping the count. Anyway. All right. Zay Flowers it is.
Super exciting deep threat jitterbug.
Yes.
Speed, acceleration, and overall something here. Zay Flowers is in. That's exciting. You got your Adam Thielen replacement right there.
There you go.
And I'll be honest, probably more an electric player at this point in his career than what Thielen was last year.
Ooh, Cowboys take Bijan Robinson. All right.
They want him. I don't know if you heard about that room.
No.
If they go and get rid of Zeke this offseason, who was a first-round running back, take another one, that would be funny.
That would be such a cherry.
Him and Pollard together. I mean, Dak wouldn't have to do anything.
Yes.
Dak has it pretty good in Dallas. I'm not going to lie. Aside from the fans being rude, but that's nothing new with that fan.
How far you want me to let this drop before I stop it and maybe think about trading in here, gentlemen? We're up to pick 37 as of now.
Oh, we'd have to. I'd let it go at least till pick 50. I mean, you'd have to give so much to move up. That's just me, though.
Josh Downs.
Anyone in particular you'd like to get, Justin, that for trading up for? Anyone in particular that prospect or position?
You know what? I'm going to stop it after a couple more picks, and we'll just see where. No! God dang it! I was just going to say, let me stop it here and see if John Michael Schmitz is still there. This is why
dude. It always happens that way.
That's why you don't leave me in control of this stuff here. But all right, here. Is there a way to get back to the big board to see who's available or at this particular point? Or
I think there's a drop window, isn't there? I believe there should be. From what I can remember, I'm not sure. I thought there was a drop window.
We're not picking, so I'm not sure.
Oh,
this also is.
Yeah, if you're not picking, I don't think it'll show you.
All right,
I can't remember.
I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. Let's just run a few more. All right, I'm going to stop it there because I'm going to trade ahead of Detroit, run before the pick we were supposed to have before we traded it for T.J. Hawkinson, just for the sake of trolling. All right, put it in the chat here, anybody. What should be our next way to go here? Everybody went Flowers. Okay, cool. You know what? To heck with it. I should have prepared a little bit better. I should have run a few simulations myself, but that's all right. We'll just run it. Until we get to our last pick, and then we'll do.
I mean, do you want to try? I was going to say, you want to try trade Daniel Hunter, but too late for that.
Yeah. Now we got 10 more picks, but I sped it up here, so we'll see who's available, and then we'll leave it up to the chat to make a pick here for us, and we'll see who's available. Okay. So this is where you guys are going to have to start helping me because my knowledge is about the first round and a half, and that's about it. But you want to go, is there a trade offer? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's a trade offer, yeah.
You would go down.
But you'd have to make it yourself, but that does mean there's a team interested in this, the Raiders.
I don't know why the heck it does that. All right, so let's see. Who's it? How about your guy Stetson Bennett there, Mike? I'm just kidding.
I'm not that high on him, Justin. Not that high.
No, we already took a wide receiver. I don't know.
There's a prospect that I do like here that's there. Saki Ika, the kid out of Baylor. He's a tackle. That would be a lot of fun.
Defensive tackle?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. All right, that's one to consider. What are you thinking, Kyle?
Yeah, my immediate knee jerk is probably what you guys see in the chat. We just took offense. I'm looking at defense. I'm looking at D-line. I'm looking at corner. I'm looking at linebacker too if the value's there. But
yeah, who's available at corner and linebacker? That's a good point.
All right, let's take a look.
The good thing about
Riley Moss, we brought in.
Moss, the guy that, I've heard East Coast talk about.
The good thing about PFF is they'll give you the ranking of where they might go, the average there.
Yeah.
The kid out of Stanford, I've heard good things about too. Blue Kelly.
Yeah. Okay. You said you
wanted Ojomo's still there.
Noah Sewell's good. I've heard good things about Noah Sewell.
You could get him in the third.
This is the third.
But I like him, yes.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. What other position? There was one more you'd said that you wanted me to look at here. I'm sorry.
Oh, we were looking either D-line. We did linebacker, we did corner. Yeah.
That's right, D-line. All righty. So I like your the Baylor guy. I'm not even going to try and say his name. Let's just and
so you have an edge rusher up there, and you have an interior based on the value, because they are ahead there at 58 and 63. We're at 87, so you get good value.
Mm-hmm. And this is just a random stat, but Ika played at LSU at one point, and I've liked when we've drafted LSU Tigers in the past, so I would not be opposed.
No, there you go. There you go. Who was the other guy? It was a linebacker. Who did we just say a minute ago? So we got Ika's on the.
Get in the third for sure. We were in the third. My bad. I forgot we're.
Noah Sewell.
Noah Sewell. All right. So Noah Sewell from Oregon, or the defensive lineman that we just had there a moment ago, Saki Ika. Which those are our two choices, ladies. So put it in the chat. In fact, just say linebacker or say D lineman, because I'm not going to be able to keep track of all of this. Where is Devin Overshone?
That's I believe that's the defensive tackle from. It's either a tackle or a linebacker from Texas.
Let me see if he already went. Not seeing him on here, so I'm guessing he went when we sped through this whole thing. Oh, he went 2 picks ahead of us.
There it is.
You got to be kidding me.
He goes around this range all the time when I used to.
All right, you guys chat for a second. I'm just going to tap out for just a second here. Hold up.
I'm going with masses here. Kid from Baylor. I like that a lot. Not that an edge wouldn't be bad, but in this scenario, guys, we don't know the Hunter and the Smith scenario of what the situation is going to be. So I would always take Enter D-line help, because it seems like ever since 2020, we can't stop the run for anything. So I'm okay with that. I will do more homework on this kid from Wisconsin, though. If he's still sitting there 30 picks later, it's not terrible.
If I had been paying attention, I would have been like, "Oh wait, Overshone is almost there. Let's just try and trade up and get him." That kind of irritates me that he went 2 picks before, because I actually like that guy. I've heard about him a little bit anyway. All right, so what's the consensus? Which way are we going here to wrap this mock one?
I'd go with Kyle. I'd go with Ika.
Ika, yeah.
All right, there we go.
And then it'll give us a grade when we're
see what our grade is.
I'd say it's a B+ or an A-.
I would agree.
Thank you, PFF. Hire me for your local football team. Ooh, look at that. A- and A+. Love that.
You were selling us short. We got an A out of this. All right, let's do this again here. And in all seriousness, let's turn the speed down just a little bit. Let's take some of the randomness down.
Hey, I appreciate all you guys while Justin's doing this to fill a little bit. I appreciate you guys letting me come on again, and I appreciate you guys for showing my channel love. Don't do a lot of plugging and all that stuff here. It's just this is the fun part of Viking social media, because I just met these guys this year, and you guys have taken me in, so I appreciate it. And like you said earlier, I will definitely come back, and you guys definitely can come on our show. Maybe after post-draft buzz, maybe after we sign Rock Yassin, because I'm putting him out in the universe.
That'd be awesome. All right, so in all seriousness, I know I would love to do that.
I was going to say, why would the Cardinals trade for Cousins when they have Kyler Murray?
Who the heck knows? What player are we trying? Are we
I'd go with Daniil. If we're gonna Daniil, yeah.
So according to this,
you're getting Anthony Richardson, man. It's happening.
Theoretically. No, I'm kidding. I'm not giving rid of our 2025, but all right. So according to this, it would take Whoa!
That's interesting.
1 and 2, and you still.
Let's keep in 23. So here's the deal. That's the 24 first, 25 first, 24 second, and 23 second. And Daniil
Justin Day is over here. Kevin Costner and his way into the draft right now, draft day. I love this so much.
We doing it?
Yeah, I do that. The thing is, I will say we got to be careful because, if you guys want Richardson, then we could just do it. If I'm outvoted, that's fine.
That has a 72% chance. I would try that and see what they say. Or you could throw in like a late round in one of the later ones too, like a 4 or 5 and see.
This is a 92%. So for 2 first-round picks and a third in Daniil Hunter, but not this year's first.
Yes.
This is no.
We go back to that.
Well,
Richardson went off the board. Is he had Bryce Young? That's not going to happen, but I would love Bryce Young at 3.
Yeah, let's do Bryce Young.
yeah, I was about to say.
Man,
That works.
speed dial.
If that happens in real life, I'd be in shock at this point.
Oh,
All right.
quarterback
need
of the
to
future,
ask?
boys.
No,
Do I
we
need
run
to
in the
ask?
card.
Do I need
Vikings
to ask?
Uncensored says, take trade right now. Dylan, I appreciate you. He said I had him at Aldrich Robinson. See, telling you, he's from the cloth too. And we keep the 23 in this one.
And we kept the 23. All right, so let's just
man.
recap here. Despite the fact that I accidentally pushed the wrong button, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, this is exactly what happened when me and Rap did this. But we'll take Bryce Young, then Will Levis, so quarterbacks 1 through 4, Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez, Will Anderson didn't quite make it to the Bears this time, but tackle from Northwestern, Jackson Smith in the Jigba at number 9. That's interesting, but okay.
I don't like the Bears getting better right there. That annoys me.
That's good for them. So, yeah, that's the Ohio State connection. They got because Fields. Played with
Yep.
Jigba, did he? All right. Are we going to try and trade up with Houston, or are we just going to let it roll to us?
This is just my opinion. I'll let Kyle go after. I think we should trade down, guys. I think we could pick up a lot of assets now. It's something to think about.
Yep.
All right.
Let's see who's on the board at 23, like Vikings Censored said. But yeah, let's see who's on the board, and then because if you walk out of there with 2 nailed first round picks, man, Clancy's there. Oh man.
Jordan Addison went right. Sorry, let's go through it here and see who went. So Johnston is gone. Jones, Van Ness, Joey Porter, Smith, Dante Banks, Paris Johnson, Miles Murphy, Bijan Robinson, Brian Branch, and Jordan Addison.
Ooh.
So wait a second. Zay Flowers is still there. We'll get back to that one. Cansey is there.
I didn't see where Cansey went in the other round. I should have paid attention to that.
Yeah, I was a little all over the place there. Let's see whose cornerbacks are available there. Anybody of interest?
Not
I would,
particularly.
you know what I would do here? If we don't take Cansey, you trade back and you target Cam Smith. He's valued at 39. I'd go right inside the second round and try to go for him.
I would trade down too. A guy I like, linebacker Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. Linebacker. If he's still on the board.
Vikings Uncensored. I would too, man. Oh, man. Seeing some Ted Cansey, seeing some Drew Sanders in the chat.
So, just out of curiosity, because I'm greedy, y'all wouldn't take Zay Flowers?
I'm not saying I wouldn't. I don't know what the Vikings would do.
It'd be so quessy to trade up and then trade down the same draft.
It would be.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be. All right, so let's see if we can find.
Ooh, that's not bad. It's the Giants. We only have to go down 2 spots. See if we can pick up their third or something.
Daniel Jones, I hate you so much. I hate him so much. Oh. Let's see. They don't need a running back. I was going to say we trade him Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
We could try it, Justin. Is it 80? Was it 89? See if they take it. You can try it.
So if
Sometimes
I offer the trade and they reject it,
correct.
there's no harm
You
no
could do
foul.
it again. You could change it up. There you go.
All right. So we just snagged the Giants' third to move back 2 spots. So let's just roll the beautiful bean footage. And none of the players that we were talking about taking went. So let's see what we got for trade offers here.
The Saints.
No, I ain't trying to trade out of the first one. Let's see what they. So
Would you go 115 maybe? But it's a risk.
I love it, man. All they can do is say no.
yeah, all right. Stop goofing around, Justin. Stop goofing around. Okay, so they want to move up from 29 to get 25. I want their 40. So yeah, that ain't gonna happen, and I'm not giving up.
They were going to give you 115, or maybe see if they'll give 71.
Yeah, 71 only has a 27% chance, so we'd have to throw.
If they're in 211, I wouldn't really care. That's just me.
Yeah, that's not moving the needle enough.
Hmm.
What do you guys say to that?
It's up to you guys.
What do you say to that, Kyle?
Oh man, that's your fifths there.
That is
one of your thirds.
no.
That
That is
fourth and fifth, no?
I'm sorry.
Oh, we get 71 back.
Yeah, we get 71. So we would get.
All right, let's be reckless. Let's do it.
Let's do this. Yes, brilliant. And of course, all right. There's my dream being dead of Zay Flowers. All right, so Cansey's a possibility. Who are those DBs?
Is Addison still on board though?
Huh?
Addison, the receiver, Addison.
No, Addison went right before right before us in the first place. Otherwise, I would have really pushed hard for that. All right, so Cam Smith is still available. That's the guys you pointed out.
Take Cansey. Take him.
Mike, Cansey, or which one?
Anything that's not a corner, I'm good with. So let's do that.
Take Cansey right now. And then you get 71 and 89.
I stopped it at the end of the round here. So,
you're right. So purple and skull, they would be ridiculous.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Purple and skull said the Bengals offense would be ridiculous, and Skull Mafia says we need an all-pro guard to help protect the future. We can see what interior line grades are around 70 to 89.
All right,
sure
so
those guys would be there.
Just so that we.
Why don't we trade Kirk?
Where?
I don't know. What are you guys feeling? Is there a team that? I mean, we're in the second round still, right?
Yes, we at the start of the second round. We haven't done anything in the second round.
I've thought about this, and Justin, I made you laugh when I said this last time, so I'll say it on live now. So I'm not, trying to just say one thing off air or another thing on. Kirk's a bit of a mercenary. Why don't we try the Colts? Did the Colts take quarterback?
Yeah, they took Will Levis.
They took Levis.
They took Will Levis.
I don't know then.
Let's go through the second round and see who's up there, and we'll see which one definitely would.
How about the Jets? We could try the Jets. In theory, they haven't acquired Rodgers yet. I mean, throw it out there.
Right.
They have 2 second-rounders. I know that for a fact.
All right.
There you go.
New York Jets. We're looking for 2 second-round picks.
I love the aggressiveness.
80% chance. Man. Woo! We said this earlier. If you guys weren't listening, you forgot. If Bryce Young or CJ Stroud comes to the team, they're starting. So that's the reason for trading Kirk right now.
I didn't think of that.
So
we doing this?
Chance.
Oh,
we trying this?
Let's do it.
Send him to where he should have went in free agency in 2018, right?
This is so crazy and fun. Oh my, this is so much fun.
This is fun. All right. So just so that I recap for myself, we now have the 42, the 71, and the 89. And we've gotten rid of Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter.
Somebody send this to Quessy right now.
If it promises Bryce Young, absolutely.
So we got 10 picks to us. Do we want to roll these 10, or do we want to try and see?
I'd be willing to take the chance because I think we could get one of the linebackers, Jack Campbell or Drew Sanders.
I'll roll it. Oh, that's right.
There goes Cam Smith at second round.
Yeah.
There goes your boy.
Is Campbell still on board? Jack Campbell out of Iowa.
What position he play?
Linebacker. No.
That'd be.
I'm just saying.
I think you could get him at 71.
I was thinking the same thing.
Who's available at the all? Who's the overall best player available?
There you go.
An edge from LSU. Weird. We just got rid of an edge.
You just got rid of one. Let's get another one back in here. Yeah.
Let's get to in the chat while we think about this. Somebody mentioned it earlier. They said they think Patrick Jones will flourish under Brian Flores.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier.
He's very good.
About him earlier. Well, what pick are we at?
What is it? 42.
Yeah, when's our next one? I forget.
71.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to go full pie in the sky, I mean, John Michael Schmitz is calling, for us.
Kyle,
let's go. Garrett Bradbury.
See ya.
Earn
Goodbye.
your job. Earn your job, son.
If you play bad in pass protection, you're going to eat the pine.
There you go. All right, so we are now on. No, well, first off, we're not trading with the Bears, just on general principle.
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed.
All right. So now we're on pick 54 with the Los Angeles Superchargers. Oh, that's right. You can't see who's available at the. All right, let's take a look and see some names. Let's see if there's anybody that's gone that we liked before. Did we miss out on anybody else that you guys want?
I think you're overshown. I think might fall to us, but
I think we should just take the chance, see if Overshow falls to 71. That's what I'd do.
All right, let's do it.
It's going to go right in front of us because that's
that's what it does. Jalen Hyatt was still there? Oh, all right.
I could see him being a first-round pick, which is crazy because
your guy went. All right, so we are now just 6 picks away.
I think we let it ride.
Let it ride?
Let it ride.
Okay.
We're with you, chat. We're looking for Overshown.
This is me saying we're within 6 picks. I'm just curious, guys. I'm sorry. I've got to look.
Yeah, no.
I got to look.
Flirt with it, man. See what happens.
Yeah. Did you guys do that?
Can you see if you could throw in 230? Was it 239 there? Try to be cheeky.
Yeah, 239, their last one.
259?
259. Or is it 259? Sorry, my screen's pretty small.
Still a 73% chance.
I'd try it. I wouldn't be opposed. I'd do that. It's a day 3 pick anyway.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, look, Tanner McKee's available.
Let's do it, boys. 2 quarterbacks. Get rid of Nick Mullins, too. No.
We'll do what the Washington team did a long time ago. We're taking 2.
Oh, yeah, when they took RG3 and Cousins.
Yes, there you go. Hendon Hooker went at pick number 70. Yeah, there you go.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think it goes far ahead of that.
There goes Tanner McKee.
Who did he go to? Did you see?
Doggone it. I was just going to stop for Tank, but that's all right. Hendon Hooker went to the Raiders at pick 70, but we're going to take him at pick 23, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Thanks everybody in the chat. I know that I haven't been keeping up on that because I'm running this here. So, all right. So let's just get this last pick and get up out of here so that I can get back into the chats here a little bit.
I see a corner there up at the top. Garrett Williams. All right. Not terrible. And valued at 57. Get him at 89. Not terrible.
This would be the responsible time to take a corner. I can't lie.
I was thinking, you know what, we gotta take a corner. Gotta take a corner. All right, for me, what do you guys here? Push the button, Justin. So there you go.
Oh, we had all the stats, and I saw a run grade and a coverage grade.
Mm-hmm.
Coverage is great. Run, not so much. Completion percentage, not terrible.
I've heard good things from the kid about TCU. Matt Anderson put a tweet out about him recently from climbing the pocket. The kid from TCU.
Yeah, Hodges Tomlinson. Let's see what he does.
5'8". Nah, that's not a Flores guy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That ain't no Flores guy. 5'10", I think. Yeah, 5'10", maybe.
He's got a better chance for sure.
He played enough off zone in his career to get by, but he'll really shy in man coverage.
Okay, there you go. That sounds like a Viking.
It is.
Guys, should we try to trade up for a receiver to end this? Go big or go home?
Well, you got 8 picks left.
Should we try to trade up for a wideout quickly before it ends?
I think this is the end, isn't it?
Well, we could. Oh, it's a good stop there. Do we have any picks? We could try something here. Trade 112 and 259 for 102. Nah, they won't go for it. Throw in Dalvin Cook, even though there's no chance that's going to...
Great point!
No, San Francisco is totally not going to go for that.
Yeah, but all right. This is
Mike does want Hendon Hooker at 23. Too even. You're right.
Hey, look at that. Are you serious?
Only per PFF. I wish. Only in my dreams would that be.
Oh, come on.
That's not happening. They got CMC anyways, but this is fun.
All right. Let's
Just to see what receiver we could get. We could just play around with it just for fun.
Well, who cares? We're not going past this round anyway, so let's just
Yeah, let's just do it. Have fun with it. Imagine CMC and Cook in the same backfield. Oh my God.
Oof.
Well, you know, Shanahan could find a way.
He would use McCaffrey as a wideout.
That's my
honestly.
point. That's
honestly.
my point. All right, let's take this. And all right, what position were we looking
for? Wideout.
All right.
Trey Palmer. God, everybody on my show has just been pounding the table for Trey Palmer.
There's no way this kid out of LSU, I believe it's Boutte. I don't think he's still available though, right? No way, right? Not at this point. No.
I don't
think so.
He's the third one under these guys. So let's see who else is up there. Tyler Scott from Cincinnati. Jalen Reed.
Do you guys liking any of these guys?
I've heard good things about Palmer as well. The kid out of, was it Nebraska, I believe?
One of my guys on my shows, you got to do the tape on Trey Palmer.
Seriously? All right, done.
This was fun.
That was the draft. That's the draft I really want to watch.
The idea that we could trade up to 3 for 2 first rounds.
I know.
And Daniil Hunter. Come on, guys.
I know.
A-, baby. I would do. Yeah. Oh, Dalvin, it was nice knowing you. Kirk, see you. Bye. Curb stomp. And Daniil, it was fun. But think about that. You'd get Cansey, Bryce Young. Got my guy, John Michael Schmidt. You knew, and got the overshown guy. I'm totally cool with that.
I had to make the joke about Cousins going to where he should have went in 2018. I had to.
Yes. All right.
We know you hate Kirk, Mike. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm a Kirk hater. I'm on the fence, so I'm a Kirk hater.
Okay.
That's how that works.
Let's get out of there. Let's get out of there with that.
Gosh, that's so much fun.
I know I mentioned you by name, but shout out, Rhino. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you. Like I said, after I get done with this, I'll have you on because we're going to be wrapping here in just a couple minutes because the Wild game is about to start. Now I'm finna go over and watch that. If you don't already subscribe to Purple People Podcast, that is our guest Kyle's channel. Gee whiz. I think it might be time that after doing an hour and a half or an hour and 15 earlier today and an hour and 40 today, I think I've reached my limit for one day, but go subscribe to Purple People Podcast. Pretty please. Thank you kindly. Everybody hit the like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Shout out to a couple other people that I know I've missed. Nick, if you're still here, thanks for joining us. I do appreciate it. Is that one of your guys? I don't know that I've seen Nick before, but in either scenario, thank you kindly for joining us here this evening. Dan, I saw you earlier, and I don't know if I mentioned or I saw you in the other show, so I didn't see you here. So if you're still here, thank you kindly for joining me as well. Let's see who else we got here. I'm sorry, I'm not going to throw up all the comments from when we were mocking because that would just kind of be pointless. But what's up, Sarah? I know I said hi to you earlier as well. Am I missing anybody? I think that's it. Ronnie Bell, nice. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, special shout out. Yeah, Yogi, I was thinking of taking Riley Moss, but, I just want to get up out here. But thank you for Yogi who gave me the access code to allow us to be able to utilize that here this evening. And if you don't follow Yogi on Twitter, check him out. This dude does mock drafts like 2 or 3 times a day. Most of them are realistic and some of them are kind of fun. But also give Yogi a shout out. It's Yogi Howard and his Twitter handle. I'm going to pull it up here right now, Yogi. Hold on just a second. I don't have it memorized off the top of my head. That's Go Skull Media. That's GEAUX, as in like the LSU Go, as in Go Tigers. But Go Skull Media. Give him a follow on Twitter. Give him a shout. And again, thank you kindly for everybody joining us here. Skull Mafia, appreciate you hanging out with me here a couple times today here as well. Dan, you are still here. Great. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. I saw you over at First and Skull, but I didn't have a chance to say hello to you here. So thanks again for joining me here. So hit the share button. And again, one more time, just a reminder here, keep it tuned to Purple and Gold for Days, as well as the Purple and Skull Media family. We're Purple Pocket Podcast, GG Scold, Purple and Skull Media, Purple and Gold for Days, and Purple Pocket Podcast will all be live streaming on night 1 of the NFL draft. Don't know exactly what time we're starting it off. We're going to start it a half an hour before the draft goes live or what the case may be. Kyle, I don't know if you guys are doing anything, but swing by into the chat and I'll text you if you want to join us if we hit a lull in there if you want. Jade is possibly going to join us as well, but for sure we have Alexander Madison's dad coming on. There's a couple of former Viking players that we're working to get. I'm not going to say their names just in case, because SK said don't say the names until I have them confirmed. But Alexander Madison's dad will be one of our special guests there as well. With all that being said, everybody in the comments, hold on, what? Kyle dropped both Jarius Wright, Aldrich Robinson, and what, Adam? Let's get him back, Skull brother. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it.
Baby.
Yes, there you go. No, I'm going to talk to Kyle about this later because he's got two others on his show that he's got a schedule with. We would love to do this, every week if we could, but there's also lots of scheduling issues that get into that here. But we'll definitely have Kyle a couple times more in the offseason, and we'll figure out a way to incorporate the other guys as well on this and do some crossovers during the season as well there. So, Mike, I've been rambling for the last 2 minutes, so you can ramble for a while here. Any last final thoughts here that you want to get up before we get up out of here?
No, I appreciate Justin having me on. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. This was good. We traded everybody, and I'd love to see Vikings Twitter if we took Bryce Young and traded Kirk Cousins, because there would be so much love and so much hate at the exact same time.
You know what it would be, Mike? You remember the Simpsons movie when the rapture was happening and all the people from the church went to the bar and the bar went to the church? all the people that hate Kirk will miss him, and all the people that loved him will be like, get him out of here. Yeah. And that's exactly what
it'll be bizarro world of all bizarro worlds. You're right.
And then I'd have to hear
Young boys. We got him.
And the one thing I want to throw in, my favorite thing that we would hear on Twitter if we did trade Kirk, which honestly I don't think it's going to happen anyway, but for fun, is like, how dare the Vikings do that? He was the best quarterback we've had since Dante Culpepper. But anyway, I had to get that in there.
Well, yeah, since Dante, he is. Absolutely. Yeah. He's not better than Fran Tarkington, though. So and there are legitimately people out there that think he's already past Fran Tarkington.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mike with the shatter the backboard dunk. Absolutely. In all seriousness, thank you kindly, everybody, for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out if you didn't. Hit the share button. Tweet it out for me. Check out the live that I did with SK and Rap earlier today, as well as some of the video drops that we've had on all the channels across the Purple and Gold Media Network. But for now, life mission, one Super Bowl, just once before we die. Just once before we die. Thank you kindly. Skol Vikings. We'll see you on the flip side. Good night.